what's up, you guys? Appreciate everyone for clicking on the video. Thank you guys for, all the support, love. Quick, before we get to this video, I just want to get a little test from you guys. I'm trying to upgrade all my cool shit. You're gonna see the little pillow saving my back, no diddy. But you're also gonna see a cool little face cam stuff that I'm trying to do for all the videos. I'm just trying to make small changes, trying to upgrade everything, a little bit more, lighting from this side. But I want to ask you guys about the audio. So I have two different settings that I'm kind of stuck between. I'm gonna do like a little mini test talking. Shoot down in the comments which one you think is better. This is gonna be one. This is what I normally use when I stream, talk casually during normal YouTube videos. And then this is gonna be two. I think two sounds a little bit more like, I think it sounds a little deeper, a little bit more like smooth, maybe a little bit just like higher quality. I feel like I sound more rich, but I feel like the first one is like more like me, but I'm not really too sure. So let me know what you guys think, and thank you again, clicking on the video, just showing support, showing love. We're gonna keep moving from here. And drop any video ideas you guys have, shorts ideas, any cool stuff, anything you guys want to see me do on the stream. Holla at me, I got plenty of free time. Yeah, let's get straight to it. True Crime Reacts.
It's 3:30 a.m. in a neighborhood in the city of Akron. CCTV records a man in a jumpsuit walking up to a house. Seconds later, what could only be a nightmare begins.
Akron 911.
Oh,
I got a fire going on 4th Avenue. It's fully engulfed. I think there's people in the house. It's blazing, man.
Bro, what? Damn, bro. Why everything gotta happen to Akron, bro? Akron really the hood.
As the flames
Like, for
engulf
real.
the house, the mysterious man disappears into the night, leaving a trail of blood behind him.
Oh my God. Hurry, please.
Hey, bro, before we get into this, if you out there doing crime, bro, like my boy Fly says, stop it, bro. You gonna get caught. Don't do this, man. Don't do this crime. It's not worth it in the big 25, bro. We about 2 months away from the big. We 1 month away from the big 26. Just be good people, man. Come on, bro. This is sad, man.
As authorities were called to investigate,
This is sad,
they had
bro.
no idea what they were stepping into. This would
Akron,
only
Ohio,
be the
man.
beginning of a series of fatal fires set by a vicious, cold-blooded killer, and detectives would soon find themselves racing against the clock as a serial arsonist hunts for his next victims.
Shout out Dr. Insanity,
The
man.
night of April 17th, 2016 was uneventful for 66-year-old Lindell Lewis. He had just gone through a hip replacement surgery and was resting at his home on 719 Fultz Street, being looked after by Gloria Jean Hart, his girlfriend at the time. However, this night would be different.
Boy got a girlfriend at
This
65.
night would plunge the once peaceful city of Akron into sheer terror.
Not
In
anymore.
the early hours of April 18th, close to 3:33 a.m., CCTV footage captured a man walking in the direction that led directly to Lindell's house. And moments later, tragedy would strike the house of Lindell Lewis. Because he was in a hurry to escape, this first attempt at setting the house on fire had failed, and the flames died out, prompting the arsonist to make a return for a second time to
No.
make sure he finished the job. At around 3:40 a.m. and approximately 3 minutes after this second round of dousing the house with what appears to be
No,
gasoline,
bro.
a raging fire would swallow
burned
up
the house
entirety of Lindell's house.
and then came back
This
for a
was an
second
early
time?
Monday morning,
'Cause it
and
didn't
most
burn?
people in Lane Worcester neighborhood were asleep preparing for work. No one would have been awake to see
Boy,
who
you
this
can't make
masked
this up, man.
arsonist was. More importantly,
can't
whoever
make
this
that up, bro.
was well aware of Lindell's hip surgery, as it had made him wheelchair-ridden and unable to move.
Bro, we can't even.
Silence from the arsonist
What?
until May
What just happened?
when the he finished the job. At around 3:40 for work,
Oh, my fault,
no
yeah.
one would have been awake to
Like,
see
he can't
who
even.
this
He in a
masked
wheelchair. He
arsonist
can't even
was.
leave the
More
crib.
importantly,
He's cooked.
whoever this was
Respectfully, he's cooked.
well aware of Lindell's hip surgery, as it had made him wheelchair-ridden and unable to move. This
Man.
meant that the fire was started knowing that he would never be able to escape. And soon enough, 911 calls would begin pouring in as the fire raged on.
Akron 911.
What's his girlfriend up there?
This is 725. It's next door. I can feel it. The lights are going out. It's burning quick,
Shit.
man. If somebody's in there, they're dead, man. You can get up here real quick. Hey, they're on their way already.
Presumably, Lindell and his
Oh, no,
girlfriend
okay.
were sleeping in their bedroom on the upper floor of the house when the fire initially began. Since the masked arsonist ensured that the fire spread from the ground floor, this meant that by the time they woke up because of the heat and crackling of the fire, they had no escape, especially because Lindell was unable to move by himself. Gloria most likely helped Lindell move from the bed, and the couple retreated to their bedroom in an attempt to get as far away as possible. But all this did was delay the inevitable. As firefighters and EMS arrived at the scene, the elderly couple was heard screaming.
Hey, bro, this is a side note. Now, obviously, I don't know the backstory of why this dude did that, what an arsonist did that, or if, he just randomly targeted people, but he came for that man when he was down. You know what I'm saying? Do right by everyone. The golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. Because these people, like these sinister people, these evil people, they're not going to come to you man to man. They're not going to come to you when you up. They're going to come to you when you down. Like this man, obviously we don't know the story, like I said, but he came to this man when he burned the house when he had a hip injury. This man had no chance of coming out. Just do right by everyone, bro. You don't know when someone's on the last straw. You don't know when they down, and that little comment that you think is a little comment might just be the last straw. That might cook them right there. You might be cooked. It's the evil world we live in, man.
For help from inside their bathroom.
It's the evil world.
Even with desperate attempts to save them, it was far too late. This gasoline fire was far too violent, and the smoke was far too thick. Gloria Jean Hart and Lindell Lewis were pronounced dead by the time they were discovered.
Just rest in peace, man.
A tragedy like this was unheard of in Akron, not only because of the fact that there was now an arsonist on the loose, but because no one knew who his next
This is the
victim
first
would
victim,
be.
okay. First
Because
two.
as it turns out, Lindell and Gloria were only 2 of his 9 victims to come. The hunt for knew who his next victim would be, because as it turns out, Lindell and Gloria were only 2 of his 9 victims to come.
Yo, these are little kids, bro. This is wrong, man. These two look like siblings. These two are siblings. Man, this is wrong. So he just getting in straight up households, bro.
The hunt for this masked murderer was on.
This is
Soon
wrong,
enough,
man.
detectives had a lead. During the night this fire occurred, the suspect had fled in this direction immediately after his second attempt. This meant that whoever this was lived in this general vicinity, and considering this, the very first suspect would be Stanley Ford. Stanley was a
how's that
peculiar
gonna mean that?
man. He often claimed to be a guardian sent by God and would spend his days sleeping so he could stay awake at night to watch over the neighborhood. Additionally, Stanley was also Lindell's neighbor, and the two had spent many years living next to each other. This is why officers were certain that Stanley would react with sorrow when informed of Lindell's death. But when a call was made telling him of the tragedy, something was off.
I was calling to follow up with you about the fire across the street. Because of the tumultuous history that you and the people in Lindell's
Ultras.
house had, everybody is thinking
That's a word, man.
you, right?
No, Tanisha, listen to me once again. I do not mess with these people up here. Them guys try to get me to come on and engage with them. Them guys was nasty. They had prostitutes in and out all night. They was dealing with homosexuality. Them people was just bad people. I didn't do nothing to them people. Them people were just mean. I mean, listen here. When they moved up here, Tanisha, they stole everything that wasn't bolted down.
Well, Mr. Ford, this is my concern.
What's your concern?
Is that how to make people believe that it wasn't you.
Tanisha, you either take my word or you don't. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we do have another option.
What's that?
The polygraph.
Suspiciously, not only did Stanley refuse a polygraph test, but officers believed his reaction to be endorsing Lindell's death rather than mourning it. This was likely because of a lull in the two's relationship that stemmed from their arguments about property boundaries and maintenance. However, in all fairness, this case was not limited to Lindell alone. In fact, Stanley was infamous for often disputing with neighbors when it came to property boundaries. All things considered, Stanley was only seen as a weird and obnoxious neighbor rather than someone who would burn a house down. For now, at least, he was not the most prominent suspect.
So okay. Oh, Loveless said. What was his last name? Is he Stanley Loveless?
When a call was made telling him of the 20 years living next to each other, his days sleeping so he could stay awake from
74.
tests.
Because I feel like this is not that
property
crazy.
boundaries
Because this is sound like black man
suspect,
behavior
as
to me.
detectives began to believe that the one responsible for this fire may have been someone
Because I feel like he might have made a
inside
comment
Lindell's house.
that was showing some form of remorse,
The
but
night the fire occurred, Lindell and Gloria were not the only ones in the house. Thomas Hugley and Garrett were two of Lindell's friends who were going through tough times due to financial constraints.
man.
Lindell was kind enough to offer the two of them a place in the basement of his home. Fortunately, Thomas
So they
escaped
got out, though.
before the
Okay.
fire could swallow up the basement, but Garrett, on the other hand, just so happened to be somewhere else that night. By April 22nd, 2016, Akron detectives would call in Garrett for an interview to find out what really happened.
First, let me say that I hate having to put you out there like that. Like all of
That was terrible. I like what the heck? Heck.
you guys, that's my first language. But I was worried because they said you live down there. I hate having to put you out there
Yeah.
like that. Like all of
She
you.
said, yeah.
I like what the heck? Heck.
You guys, that's my first language. But I was
Yeah,
worried
I'm
because they
saying-
said you live
He
down
said,
there.
she said, you can cuss, that's my first language.
And I hadn't seen or heard from
Black
you.
people keep it real, man.
Yeah, I was
Always a
there.
black lady
I was
every
there.
video, man.
Earlier that day, because I was over at auntie's house, did a job for her.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's her name?
Shit.
Ooh.
Williams. I forgot her last name. Her husband. She works across the street, right there.
Okay.
He playing
Now,
clock.
I ain't trying
He
to,
playing
you know,
clock.
stir
You
your
know what
brain.
I'm
That's the
talking
main reason I wanted to find you. Make sure, one, that you safe and you okay. And if
I didn't know nothing about it until my sister then called me.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Hughley called me.
And what did they say?
Huh?
They said the house burned down. But they didn't tell me nothing about nobody got hurt in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then my best friend,
What you talking about, Linda?
For detectives, it is definitely odd
That's
that Garrett
embarrassing.
is taking so long to remember the finer details. But this is nothing conclusive as
Sound
of
like he
now.
might be playing-
However,
he
they
playing
are
clock
confident
so he
that by
can think.
poking deeper, they might be able to
And
find
he was a
some
candidate
clues.
dry though. He might be
Heard
straight.
about anybody who got a beef with him?
Might be straight. I don't know.
no, that I know of.
Now, what was that thought you just had?
That was that I know of. Nobody I know of right off the hand.
That don't seem like the truth. It seems like you're choking on the truth.
I said, I don't know offhand, because I didn't know the people he knew.
It's obvious you just had a thought. Do you just not want to speak because all of us in here, or
No,
do you not want to speak because you're at the police?
I like how straight that shit
You
being.
only had a thought right there.
all I know is they report to have a
Cause he
return
should-
order that guy.
He should say some. Yeah, he should say something about Stanley.
Something, that's all I knew.
Stanley's name has once again crept into the conversation. In fact, rumors about Lindell and Stanley's conflicts had already spread like wildfire, and he was on.
Hey, this is a tip.
Because you're at the police.
This is a tip, yo.
You definitely had a thought right there.
I'm gonna put y'all on some game. When a black person grab a drink while they telling a story or while they telling you something, they capping. They capping about something. They not telling you the whole
Stanley's name
truth.
has once again crept into the conversation. In fact,
Something
rumors
missing.
about Lindell and Stanley's conflicts had already spread like wildfire, and he was on his way to becoming suspect number one. But for detectives, this could mean anything. Stanley would
Like when it-
alternatively be the most
Some
suitable
sus
for
there, bro.
Garrett to pin his crimes on, a neighbor with a god complex who had frequent conflicts with Lindell. Furthermore, Garrett
Shit,
has
you Stan
not
got
given
family?
any
That might make him
details
valid.
about his alibi. All
might
we
be more
know
chill.
is that during the night of the fire, he was at his aunt's house and was spending time with his niece. This is why detectives would not let up putting pressure on Garrett.
You're the only person that ain't even gave a scenario. And that kind of made me suspicious
Scenario means.
of anything that you might have heard or thought. You're the only one.
But I don't know nothing. I wasn't there.
I-
I know
that-
you weren't there.
I hadn't been there in a couple of days. So.
You weren't there, but you're the only one.
All right, let's do it this way. The night of the fire, the night it happened,
I was at my niece's house.
what time did you get there?
I don't know what time we got there.
Was it light outside or was it dark?
I don't know. We was intoxicated. What can I say?
Who were you with?
Me and my niece.
And what time did you leave there?
The next day, I think.
What time did the fire happen?
I don't know. Thomas told me it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know.
Let me ask you this question. Was you going to the funeral today?
Yes. Yes.
You know what time it is?
It's supposed to be at 10 o'clock. That's what they say.
I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna go on straight with you. But the gut feeling I got is that you have some names swirling in your head. You just don't want to give them because you don't want to give them.
I don't know them.
Right.
I don't know them people.
You might not
socialize with them people.
Don't grab for that drink, boy.
We're asking for your help.
I know. I understand that.
You got that drink,
I
you
just don't
capping.
really know much, man. But man, they protected me when I was on the football field. I had to be tackled, and they made it happen for me. They said, we ain't gonna get tackled.
You talking about real life, or you talking about actual football? I'm
It was
confused.
good times.
That's an idiom?
For detectives, this was perplexing.
What are you
A
talking about?
suspect that was willing to cry for his dead friend and housemate, yet had no solid story for where he was on that day, created a contradicting situation. No matter what,
I'm a little
detectives
confused.
cannot be certain
Not
that
gonna lie.
Garrett is the arsonist, so they would slowly push him towards a polygraph test, claiming it's the only way to prove his innocence.
I've seen people lie on a polygraph, though.
Second Butler to come in and schedule a polygraph.
Okay.
I'll call you and schedule it.
No, it's his schedule.
We got a polygraph
It's his
operator
schedule.
here. We're going to bring him in here and he's going to schedule with you. Set up an appointment.
Oh my God. This is nuts.
You know?
I'm about to have a fucking heart attack.
Grab that drink, I dare you.
Listen, man. We're trying to help here. We're not
I know, I will. If I can
The
help
fact
you,
that they
I
give
will.
him this much screen time means that
Well,
something's
if you
coming.
need to get something off your chest and let
They
us
wouldn't
know
put us,
something that you
like, he
know,
wouldn't put us in the
you
video
will
if it was
feel a
nothing.
whole lot better that you're our key to the information about who's
There's a
lying.
lot on.
Why
Yeah.
y'all putting it on me? I wasn't even
Because you
there.
lived in the house for 2 years.
Yeah, but I was never there on
And
this.
you're saying that you don't know or have heard anything about any
I have not. I
any of
haven't
these
been here long
incidents.
enough to hear
The
anything.
car fire that happened in 2013 and you were
Oh,
in the
shit.
house. You have no clue of who may have
Look
started.
at that drink. Look at that drink.
names.
No, no
Take a sip, nigga.
scenarios, no theories, no nothing.
It's just not plausible, sir.
I mean, that just goes on in a normal conversation.
Watch him
Who
ask for a
injected
cig, bro.
this?
Good for a little
This is
smoke.
part of a normal conversation.
Even though
stressing.
Garrett just agreed to the polygraph, just moments later, he would have second thoughts.
Mr. Garrett, this Sergeant Butler. He's
How you doing, sir?
They're saying you want to take a polygraph.
Well, I'm taking a polygraph anyway.
You just said you would. You
Why?
wanted to. You said, while we at it, let me take a polygraph.
I didn't say that. I said
He didn't say that, though.
That's what he said.
I said I
Did he say?
would if I needed to.
What's coming down
Shit,
to
I don't think you said that
Oh,
either.
really?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk to the sergeant here. He'll explain it.
Is this something that you'd be willing to do, is take a polygraph?
No, I changed my mind. That ain't working. Why is
Yeah,
that
some not adding up like this. Cause your friend just died, so you crying for your friend, but you're not gonna
Suspects
testify.
are
Like you're not
never
gonna testify
legally
for him, though.
obligated to undergo a polygraph test. Even if they
It's a little
did,
confusing to me.
these tests are not presentable in court due to a lack of accuracy and
Oh, I
reliability,
didn't know that.
since results
Oh,
are
okay.
affected by several factors like anxiety and mental and physical health. And with Garrett's insistence that he is innocent and was not at Lindell's house often, detectives are stuck with no other suspects. Their only remaining choice was Stanley Ford, the self-proclaimed neighborhood
Oh, that's why they were
guardian.
pressing
but
so
at this
hard.
point, this was more
They
of a
had their
gut
nose.
feeling for detectives, as they could not put up a plausible case against him for an arrest. In their eyes, many suspects were just as suspicious as Stanley, if not more. This meant the Arkan arsonist was still on the loose, and maybe these investigations had scared him, because things seemed to settle down. For the entirety of 2016, there were no more fires, and most began to forget about the incident. However, this peace would soon come to an end. On January 23, 2017, someone set fire to a vehicle on 723 Russell Avenue, just a few blocks away from the first fire. The next 2 months would be another wave of silence from the arsonist until May 15, 2017, when close to 3 a.m., Lane Worcester neighborhood was given another rude awakening.
Multiple people are dead after a house fire in Akron this morning, and at least some were children.
The Akron Fire Department says the home was fully engulfed when they arrived. The heat was so high, a staircase melted away. The exact number of victims has not been released.
A fire on 693 Fultz Avenue had resulted in the death of 7 people. 35-year-old Dennis Huggins and 38-year-old Angela Boggs, along with their 5 children aged between 16 months and 14 years. This was the second major fire after the Lindell home was burned to a crisp
peace,
13
man.
months prior. The fire had started in trash cans placed at the front of the house and spread quickly through the porch into the home. However, this was no accident. According to a forensic analysis, an accelerant identified as gasoline was dumped into the cans. The flames were intense and enveloped the house within
That's
seconds.
the way to go, bro. Rest
There
in peace,
was
man.
no room for escape. And just
Rest
like the
in
first
peace.
fire, all 7 victims were found huddled in corners of the home as they had been trapped by the smoke and flames. The bodies had been burnt so badly that the only way to identify them was through a DNA test. This was a tragedy. But compared to the first fire, finding the suspect this time wouldn't be hard, as there were only 2 options. The first was Patrick Boggs, who had a bit of history with Angela Boggs, the mother of the children in this fire. Patrick Boggs served 12 years in prison for dousing Angela in kerosene and threatening to set her on fire in 2001. He was a violent man and had even tried to stab someone, making him a very plausible suspect. But even with his past, Patrick was quickly discarded as cameras provided he had never left his home in Ohio. More importantly, an extensive polygraph test proved that Patrick was telling the truth about not being involved in this crime. However, his role in these murders wouldn't end here, as we'd later find out. For now, the only remaining suspect was a familiar face, one that was a common denominator in both fires. Stanley Ford. And this time, officers were prepared to gather a mountain of evidence against him.
They treat me like I'm a suspect, man. I'm not a suspect.
The first step was to obtain a search warrant for Stanley's home, which would result in a crucial piece of evidence being found. Worn-out tennis shoes that had been covered in an accelerant. An accelerant that just so happened to be gasoline. But the evidence wouldn't end here. One of the detectives would decide to have a one-on-one conversation with Stanley in his car, and what he says would be nothing short of disturbing.
No, listen what I'm saying to you, Stanley. This is so wrong, Stanley, listen what I'm saying to you. Embarrassing to my neighbor. Listen what I'm saying to you. You mentioned some things last night about some bad people at the house, or?
Well, to me, I thought they was bad kids. The stuff they was just doing immature stuff in the neighborhood.
Like what?
Shit, kicking the vehicles' rear view mirrors, busting them out and stuff like that.
Is that a good way to get rid of somebody moving out the neighborhood or get rid of that?
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it like that. Why would I do that? I wouldn't.
Oh, don't tell me those was the kids at the house, bro.
Fire just to get them out of the neighborhood. That ain't godly, like, man. That ain't human nature, like that.
Yeah, that's evil. That's pure evil, right?
Man, I'm not evil, man.
Yet another instance of Stanley Ford justifying not only the deaths of the couple, but of their 5 innocent little children too.
Wait, how is it
like
justifying
in the
it
murder
though?
of Lindell Lewis, there was a pattern of pure hatred towards the victims. A pattern so disgusting that Stanley felt it was his God-given right to purge anyone who upset the guardian of the neighborhood.
Okay, the fact that he's
in this case,
Dr. Stanley talking like that makes me
the
think
family
that
of dealing drugs, damaging his
he
property,
made a video.
and
He knows who
engaging in
did
illegal
what.
activities, which
So I
only
feel like he's
fueled
building
his
that
hatred
negative
towards
narrative
them.
towards bro.
Several neighbors had witnessed heated exchanges between the couple and Stanley leading up to the fire. Not only that, but the night of the fire, neighbors mentioned how they saw Stanley continuously patrolling the house. This would be corroborated by CCTV footage that would not only catch Stanley walking towards the house right before the fire, but also running away from it after. If all of this was not compelling enough, there would be one last piece of evidence that would solve the mystery of the Arkan arsonist. Take a look at this footage from the 2016 fire of Lindell's home. Now, matching this with the footage from the 2017 fire, and matching both with the footage from when police spoke with Stanley in the neighborhood, there is one correlation. The way the suspect walks is exactly the same as Stanley's stride.
Yo, don't do no dirty crime, bro. They done just caught a video from 2016. 2017? I don't know. I think this was the 2016 video as well. Bro, they don't caught his walk from 2 thermal views, an older thermal view. That's like so grainy. And then connecting it to this, they connected his walk, bro. This is some like FBI, like television show shit that we see.
Were now certain
this is crazy,
and
man.
Soon enough, Stanley was called in for an interview to be confronted with his sick crimes.
We want to talk to you.
I want you to be honest with me. Okay. I've been honest. Just talk about
Today in question. Let's go back to the fire.
Yeah. What about it?
Okay. What can you tell us about the fire?
I don't have no knowledge of that. So what's the point? You know, sometimes I explain to them,
Yo, what? What's the point?
Sometimes I walk
Damn.
the street and back. You know what I mean? Something like that. But I didn't do that fire, man.
In the face of these denials, detectives decide that enough is enough. No matter what, they need a confession out of Stanley, and the best way to do that is to show him all the evidence that points towards him being the arsonist.
As you running back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
At the time of the fire. Okay.
Right.
We got you running to the house. You're not asleep.
You weren't.
You're on the camera, Stanley.
I want no camera running from a fire.
Stanley, you're on
Good.
I'm on camera running from a fire?
We got you. Yeah.
I ain't running from no fire.
We caught him again. Tip 2, bro. You see, look, peep this. When a nigga voice start getting higher at the end, or as the voice starts getting higher, they capping. They lying like shit.
We got you running to the house. You're not asleep.
Peep this.
You're on the camera, Stanley.
I want no camera running from a fire.
Fire?
You're on the
I'm on camera running from a fire?
We got you.
Look.
I ain't running from no fire.
You see how much higher his voice goes? Yeah, he capping like shit. Yeah, they don't cop bro on 4K, man.
Yeah.
They don't cut him in 4K, bro.
We know the answers, okay?
Right. But I wasn't running from no fire.
Okay, you walk. You see the fire. Okay, you're at the fire.
No. I'm not at no fire.
You're at the fire.
I'm at a fire?
Yeah, you're at the
I'm about to fire?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Y'all an idiot, bro.
Your side of the story.
No, no, hey.
I'm being honest, man.
Maybe it's not, bro.
I didn't do anything. I mean, I can't.
It's definitely, bro.
Somebody didn't do. I would have did that. I got too much to lose, man. We got all the pieces. We know the answers. This is what we want to know. Is there some reasoning or some kind of something that happened, man? Did somebody piss you off or somebody do something? No. To maybe why. Maybe, like I said, maybe trying to send a message.
When a nigga capping, he grab that drink? What did I say?
I'm allowed to walk the neighborhood. I wasn't at nobody's house. I'm walking. Explain why you running back from the house.
I didn't do that. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, I got wrong.
Well, you know you go. Okay, we got you.
Often a suspect will refute their crimes even in the presence of concrete evidence, as this would still give them a fighting chance in court. In this case, Stanley is doing exactly this, and no matter what detectives say, he
I'm
won't
give
be
him a fighting
cracking
chance in
anytime
court,
soon.
though.
Y'all believe that I did it? No, we proved.
I'm curious. Oh, I guess if he agrees, then he's cooked in court. Okay, that's fair.
Go ahead. Do you want to explain it? I didn't do it. I'm serious. I didn't do it. I'm not going to admit to that. I didn't do it. If I did, I admit to it. I didn't do that.
Let me explain the charges.
Go ahead. Okay. You have 7 counts of aggravated murder.
However, this
That's
would be
9,
far
isn't
from
it?
the end of Stanley's saga. Because he never admitted to anything and had a history of being mentally unstable, there was a chance that he could
No,
get away
bro.
completely scot-free in
We're not
court
sending
due
bro
to his
to a
mental
mental shit.
status being absolved of all his crimes. 62-year-old Stanley Ford's trial would begin on Monday, August 30th, with the prosecutor, Michael
Damn,
D'Angelo,
bro. Look at this. This nigga was
status
bald
being
when they put him in
absolved
the
of all
investigation
his
for the first time.
crimes. 62-year-old
He got a whole head of hair, bro, and he balding like. Yo, we gotta like quicken the pace with this court system, bro. I'm
Stanley
sorry about
Ford's trial would begin on
2017
Monday,
to
August
2021,
30th,
bro.
with the prosecutor.
Oh, you know what? Hey, I'll say this. It probably got delayed because of COVID.
Michael
Probably got
D'Angelo
delayed.
making his opening statements
Possible.
that focused on correlating the masked arsonist with Stanley Ford.
That timeline, his statements, and the similarities of his actions show his opportunity. And ladies and gentlemen, the evidence, all of that will reveal his identity. And that will show you that when the defendant gets angry with his neighbors, he sets their property on fire and he kills them. And at the conclusion of this case,
So this is how close the 3 houses were. That's kind of
we're
crazy.
going to ask you to find the defendant guilty of all the charges and all the specifications.
Stanley's defense, on the other hand, knew the kind of uphill battle that they were facing and decided that the best approach would be not to prove Stanley's innocence, but to disprove the suspicions of his identity.
A lot of the evidence that you're going to be presented to is not a dispute. It's not a dispute that there were 3 fires set. It's not a dispute that all 3 fires were set intentionally. and it certainly is not a dispute that there were 9 deaths. Coroner, the medical examiner is going to come in, talk to you about the homicide.
Hey, respect the lawyers, bro.
And then the cause.
I don't know if I could morally do this job.
Those facts
Like, I think the moral line I could play is like thinking, you know, you're not like protecting a criminal, you're just kind of protecting the law. Because criminals need to be put away. Because there's also a lot of innocent people that get put away.
On the
You know, so
surface,
who really knows?
this might seem like an open and shut case, but Stanley's defense has planned for these hearings thoroughly and knew exactly who to blame, because there was one person who could turn the tides in Stanley's favor: Patrick Boggs, the same man who was the initial suspect for the second fire. When Patrick was arrested, the most conclusive evidence to dispel suspicions was his polygraph tests, but these tests are not admissible in court. This meant that when lead detective Troy Looney was called to the stand, he could do nothing but watch as the defense twisted this case.
Hey, look at bro.
But these tests are not admissible in court.
Look at it. He said
that when lead detective
look at his
Troy
face,
Looney
bro.
was called to the
He
stand,
said,
he
"Nigga,
could do
is you
nothing
serious, bro?"
but watch as the defense
Nigga,
twisted
for
this
real?
case.
Look at
You knew during the course of your investigation in 2001
Come on, man. He said, "Come really, bro."
that
Look at his
Patrick
face.
Boggs tried to set Angela Boggs on fire, correct?
Correct.
Also beat her up, correct?
Correct.
He believed she was cheating on him with a black man, correct?
Correct.
That piqued your interest in this case too because of who Angela Boggs was now dating, fair?
That's correct.
This line of questioning puts the prosecution in a tough spot, as Detective Troy could not immediately dispel the doubts of Patrick being the suspect using the results of the polygraph test. However, the defense would not lose momentum on this win. They would play their final trump card, bringing in Patrick Boggs himself as a witness.
And at this time, do you choose to testify?
I choose plead the fifth, and not testify at all.
So you're choosing to invoke your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
With him pleading the fifth, the defense's case became much stronger because for the jury, a suspect refusing to answer questions meant that he did not want to incriminate himself in a crime that he may have been involved in, thus shifting some of the blame off of Stanley.
Interesting.
Fortunately, there was one silver lining.
But I can still
a major
get
step of the defense's plan was to use Stanley's extreme beliefs to drive the case towards an evaluation of his mental health. Unluckily for them,
they can still get him on the first two,
hesitate
right?
to murder 9 people, he wouldn't hesitate to fight his own defense team and admit in front of the jury that he had no mental issues.
I didn't commit a crime to be put in to deal with all these competence of these different psychologists and psychiatrists.
No, bro.
But I gotta tell you, it's incumbent upon you to cooperate with Dr. Karpowicz.
I'm not saying a doctor, Your Honor. I'm done with it. I'm not saying no more doctor.
At this point, the only thing left to do was for the jury to come to a decision. However,
yo, not to take the side of this man trying to say if he is guilty, you know, we don't know just yet. But like, come on, bro. Like, be a little smarter, man. Just listen. This man gets paid. Look at this man. You got a nice looking suit. You got a nice looking tie. Tie look brand new. The suit look nice. He look all fitted. He look nice. You know, he look like he do what he do pretty damn well. You know. Just shut the fuck up and listen to the nigga respectfully. Like, why is you self snitching?
even
Come
with
on, man.
every single one of the defense's
If you're gonna
attempts
do
to
it,
save
do it
Stanley,
smart, bro.
the decision would come out to be in
They'll do
favor
it,
of the
though.
prosecution due to the overwhelming evidence they had. The similar walks of the suspect, recordings of Stanley expressing his hate towards his neighbors, and Stanley running
I
back
don't
to
think
his
that's
home
admissible enough,
after
though.
the second fire.
That is really
Verdict on
sus.
aggravated murder regarding
That is really
Angela
sus.
Boggs. We, the jury, being duly paneled and sworn and affirmed to well and truly try and do deliverance make between the state of Ohio and the defendant Stanley O. Ford, do find the defendant guilty of the offense of aggravated murder, a charge in the indictment, on or about the 15th day of May 2017.
But even though he was found guilty of the fires, jurors were yet to conclude their decision about Stanley's punishment. This is when the defense decided to move forward with Plan B. do anything to save Stanley from the death penalty. There were a total of 12 jurors, and a unanimous vote was needed to give Stanley the death penalty. Even if one of them disagreed, he would be given a life sentence instead. And on the 12th day of his trial,
Man, he's old,
only
bro.
11 of the 12 would vote in favor of the death penalty. The defense was successful in their attempts to save him, as just one juror disagreed, feeling that he should only be given life in jail. But even...
Yo, off topic, and my fault for pausing. Actually, not, fuck that. You can watch the main video if you want to see that shit, bro. Do you think... Like, I remember having debates about this when I was younger in school, but what are y'all thoughts on the death penalty? Because in my honest opinion, it's obviously the jurors represent, you know, the citizens of the city, supposedly. I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, that's what it is, right? Do you think that the family should have... Oh, actually, well, I guess the family died, damn. Well, I guess, you know, the family that's alive, do you think they should have a say in this? Because obviously they're going to be emotional and they're going to vote for, you know, whatever they feel. But, you know, okay, so life sentence means they're going to be in prison for the rest of their lives. But the death penalty is, you know, quick. Now, obviously they're going to be on death row. So it's not like it's immediate. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's not going to be obvious, like, immediate death. But do you think that these people are getting off easy with the death penalty? You know, like... Because in my mind, I see both sides. I can see both sides. And when people talk to me, I can understand where they're coming from, right? But if you just killed 9 people, let's say he's guilty for every single one, as they said in court, you kill 9 people. 2 sides of the story. Either, you know, after a week, this person gets put, you know, whatever, electrical chair, poison, however they kill this dude, he dies. Life's over, right? The other side of the spectrum, let's say he lives another 30 years. Probably towards the end of his 30 years, he's going to be really old. He's going to be rotting. Probably not going to be living life to the fullest like he wants to. So he has 30 years of, like, let's say pain or slow suffering. Quote unquote. He could also live in luxury in jail. Who knows, right? But most of these people, if you're willing to, you know, mentally commit to murder or killing all these people, like, we see a lot of them commit suicide right after, or attempt to kill, or you know, attempt to commit suicide. So most of them have already kind of committed to that, and committing suicide is like the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? Like on GTA, the easy way out. Take the easy way out. We see a lot of people who, when they get caught, when they get put in the cuffs, they say, "Please kill me, please shoot me, please end me." Or, you know, death by police, where they try to, you know, they pull out the gun, try to scare the cops into killing them, right? So where is the fine line? Where do we say that this is, you know, the death penalty? Obviously, I don't want you on. These people don't deserve to live. They don't deserve to breathe. But are they getting off easy? You know? And obviously the answer at the end of the day is whatever the people vote for, because different states have different laws, right? They have different things around the death penalty, how imprisonment should be done. And that's because we voted for, you know, the people in power to be able to make those choices, right? But, you know, I think it's interesting. It's interesting. Because there's definitely been innocent people who've gone death row and been killed, right? I mean, you can search it up. There's a few. Most of them are guilty. You know, to my knowledge, like, a lot of them are guilty. Like, let's look at Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy. He killed a lot of people. Supposedly over 100. Death penalty, he dies. Or should he just rot in jail the rest of his life? I don't know. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. Let me know what y'all think.
His life sentence would not be kind to him, because for every single year of his life, he would be reminded of his sick and disgusting crimes. Stanley Ford would receive
it's like a mental
9
torture, bro.
consecutive life sentences for every single one of his victims, without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 21 years. And to be reminded of his crimes, for every single date of the fire and for every single birthday of the 5 children he murdered, Stanley would be given solitary confinement, a punishment that he will have to endure for the rest of his life.
That's calm. That's calm. Connected back to that, though, I think I'm gonna make this a separate video. do we need to bring back some of the old punishments? Do we need to bring back some of these old punishments, bro? Like tooth for tooth, eye for eye, like that. You know, these, let's say twisted or let's say fair, these type of punishments. Because I think honestly, like you could say those are inhumane, and a lot of them are obviously, but the fact that they were inhumane scared a lot of people. I think nowadays a lot of people aren't scared of crime. You have I'm not like crazy up to date with news, but you know, you have a lot of school shooters. You had the one dude, I forget where it was, at a concert who shot like 50 people from the hotel room. What did he do? He committed suicide right after. A lot of these people are willingly committing suicide to get the easy way out, to get out of what they're doing, because they're not scared. Like, they want the fame, they want the instant fame, and then they just want to be gone. Like, they're going on their own terms, you know. And it's something interesting to think about. It's interesting to think about, because at the end of the day, like, there's only so much we can do, just because time has progressed so much, and we can't go back in time to rechange things. Like, we can't make people scared to do, you know, to do this dirt, to do crime. We can try to reform. We can try to build for good things. We can try to build for positive culture. But the thing is, there will always be some form of evil in the world. You know, you can't always have all good. You know, you can't have the light without the dark. You can't appreciate the light without the dark. And the dark is only dark because there's light. You know, both work the same way. You got the left and you got the right shoulder. You know, devil on the left, angel on the right. You need both. But man, let me know what y'all think, man. This was a fucking video. This was a video, man. Shit.